Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is Thursday, April 12th, 2018. Let's take a look at some space weather conditions right now. Our solar wind speeds are currently sitting at a 519 with a density of 6.4. Taking a look at our sun, once again, we have 0 sunspots to report. That is now 11 straight days with 0 sunspots. And we are now sitting at 63. And I want to make a quick note. We are accelerating faster than ever before as far as sunspots go. Without sunspots in a day, I did a little background check here. On 2009, you see we had 260 days without sunspots. That was the peak of that minimum. The year before that was 239 days of spotless days. And then before that, I think it was like 172, and it goes down even more than that. So it's more of a gradual climb all the way down to 2005, where there was 4 days of spotless sunspots. I think 2005 was 17. So if you compare coming out of the minimum or the maximum from the previous minimum, and 14 was the peak, as you see right here, 15, we had 0 days without a sunspot. So we had sunspots every day. And then 2016, late 2016, I might add, we had 32 days without sunspots. Last year, we jumped to 104. As previous charts have suggested, not as quickly. Basically, we're accelerating faster than we thought we were when it comes to spotless days. 104 for last year. We're April 12th and we're already at 63 spotless days for the year. So just kind of wanted to point that out. The next thing I'm going to do as well is try to correlate temperatures with those years and using the troposphere anomaly as well to see if there's any correlation with that. Taking a look at the KP indices right now, we're at a 2 with a 24-hour max of 3. So no geomagnetic storms today. Now there was a 50% chance from NOAA for a geomagnetic storm, a G1 anyway, and that has came and went. And looking at our SDO, we are watching the coronal hole leaving Earth facing, as the corona is kind of faced with a few minor coronal holes right now, but nothing real serious to report on. And I wanted to go ahead and show this real fast as well over here at the website. Taking a look, if you guys can look here into the 9 o'clock position on the eastern limb, you will see a little bit of activity flare up at the very end of this clip. So it's an active region that we will keep our eyes on. So far, nothing reported on it, just like the one in the below the equator region of the sun. Nothing came of that, and we will keep our eyes on that spot as well to see if that forms into a sunspot. Right now, it's just considered as an active region. And let's take a look at our TSI numbers. We are a little bit down today. TSI is down to 1360.683. Well, that's a 5, so 653. So just a little bit down from the reading that we had the other day. As you see, the chart here shows it dropping by just a few points. That is as of April 4th, 2018. Remember, these data sets come in about 8 days on a delay, so this is up to date so far. Volcano in Vanuatu spills heavy ash as acid rain falls, sparking evacuation fears for 11,000 residents. State of emergency has been declared for Vanuatu MB Island. A state of emergency has been declared. Island as a volcano continues to spill thick, heavy ash. Thousands of residents who call the island home have been warned they may need to evacuate after about 1 centimeter of ash has fallen in some areas north of the island on Tuesday night. The situation was described as becoming critical in some areas. They had received reports of houses collapsing due to the weight of the ash. Medical assistant teams arrived on the island on Thursday to provide medical support, sanitation, surveillance, and public health services to support the people of Ambia. The doctor says, "I'm confirming that heavy ashfalls cause skin and eye irritants and exuberated breathing conditions like asthma. We are also working very closely with our disease surveillance teams to monitor and report cases of mumps, other sicknesses in the region right now. But guys, go ahead and check out the article here. We'll have the link in the description. We thought that was worthy of mentioning here. Grand Solar Minimum News. Moving along here, 16 killed, 100 injured as storm in northwestern India, 80% crop loss. Heavy rain lashed in northwestern India and isolated places as storms with wind speeds exceeding 62 miles an hour created havoc in the region. Rain and thunderstorms uprooted trees in many localities in the state and lashed several other parts of the north and northwest India, such as, well, I can tell you this, I'm not going to butcher those city names, but in the northwest region of India, they got tons of rain, lots of wind. Hail was also reported. You can go to the Watchers and check out their coverage and their footage that they have. India's been in the news quite a bit here this week. I know this is probably the third day this week that I've mentioned a storm destroying crops. This is an 80%. This is the most I've seen this week for as far as India goes, but we've seen as little as 30% now to 80% in farms across India with crop loss or crop damage. Unfortunately, we've also seen several reports of suicides from farmers in the region as well. Looking at some names that are going to be retired this year for hurricane season. It says here, if I can get this information up, the World Meteorologist Organization is in control of naming hurricanes. According to the National Hurricane Center, names can be removed or retired. The only time that there is a change is if a storm is so deadly or costly that the future use of its name on a different storm would be inappropriate for the obvious reasons of sensitivity. They're talking about how hurricane season was one of the active 17 named storms. 10 strengthened into hurricanes. 6 of those became major hurricanes, strengthening to a Category 3 or higher. The retired names are going to be Harvey, Irma, Maria, and Nate are now retired after it was decided by the WMOR. These names will be replaced by Harold, Adalia, Margaret, and Nigel, which will appear in 2023 in the hurricane name list. So just a little heads up there. And here we go once again. Powerhouse storm could unleash heavy snow, tornadoes, and wild temperature swings. A powerhouse storm is forecast to bring a variety of wild weather to much of the USA from Friday through the weekend. On the colder side of the storm, heavy snow is likely to cause a blizzard conditions in the northern plains and upper Midwest. Some spots could get up to 20 inches of snow. Winds gusting as high as 50 miles an hour could cause whiteout conditions, blowing snow. Now this is for Rapid City in South Dakota. The heaviest snow across northern Nebraska, much of South Dakota, and western Minnesota. Flights in and out of Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport will probably be delayed or canceled on Sunday. The strongest wind aspect of the storm in lieu of snow can lead to power outages, property damage over a broad area of the plains, according to AccuWeather. Freezing rain could lead to an ice storm around the northern Great Lakes, along with northern New York State and northern New England. The Weather Channel named the system Winter Exanto, or I bet that's Zonto. Winter Storm Zonto. What'd you say?
I said what you said.
Zonto?
Yeah.
I'm always right. I'm kidding. Anyway, to the south, an outbreak of severe storms is forecasted portions of the central and southern plains of Mississippi, Ohio, and Tennessee valleys. The storm may bring a full spectrum of severe weather ranging from high winds, large hail, flash flooding, frequent lightning strikes, and perhaps a tornado. Will you stop it?
Sorry, that just makes me laugh.
My producer just has a problem with me being right, I guess. The named storm system is likely to produce heavy rainfall from eastern Texas to western Kentucky, packing a potential 1 to 3 inches of rain early Saturday, the Weather Service said. Flash flooding is a possibility in portions of Arkansas and Louisiana in the southwest. We'll get to that. I'll go ahead and switch over now. In the southwest, we have critical fire weather possible in the San Antonio area as well as hail. Severe thunderstorms, large hail, and the National Weather Service calls critical fire weather could visit the San Antonio area Friday night as a strong storm system line, dry line, cold front move through the area. Get this, strong storm system, dry line, and cold front move at the same time through this area. There's a marginal chance of severe thunderstorms Friday afternoon to Friday evening along the east. Interstate 35, according to the National Weather Service, who gave a forecast of a low confidence rating. And the thunderstorms they produce, they could produce large hail is 2 inches in diameter. Damaging winds also a marginal threat according to the National Weather Service. By the way, this video that's playing, I need to hurry up and get off of that. But interesting, they're talking about the Gulf Stream slowing down, and a lot of people are saying no, it's not. And then there's a lot of people saying yes, it is. So I think I actually might have talked about this on the website, or I can get the article to you guys as soon as possible. And then I wanted to bring up, while we're talking about critical fires, also looking at extremely critical fire weather conditions they're talking about not just San Antonio, but the entire southwest region here, New Mexico, Nevada, Arizona, parts of Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma are under alert for heat, wind causing big fire concerns in the southwest. Extreme fire weather conditions, including the possibility of an erratic fire growth, have developed Thursday in parts of the southwest and southern central plains. Winter Storm Xanto will sweep a dry line and a cold front eastward through the southwest. They're basically repeating everything that I just read. But we do have a large area, and this is the part of the country. I'm not, an expert at this, but this is an obvious prediction. This part of the country is always hot and dry. And I did say that we'll probably have to worry about fire weather and stuff like that in this region. And here we are, April 12th. We're already talking about a possible situation that could get bad. So I'm seeing some spots that are supposed to be getting high winds as 70 miles per hour. So maintained at 30 to 40 miles an hour and gusts up to 70 miles an hour. Not good when you're talking about dry weather, and then the chances of fire going up even more. With 5 to 15% humidity, yeah, unfortunately, conditions are very, very likely for any kind of wildfires. Moving along here, I want to bring up Kansas City once again. I do follow their baseball team, so every once in a while I kind of catch a story from them here and there. Strong thunderstorms again expected to sweep through Kansas City area Friday afternoon and evening, bringing into metro areas first threat of severe weather this season. We've kind of had a whole spectrum of severe weather possible, said Scott Blair, the meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Pleasant Hill. We certainly will have the potential for more large hail, damaging winds, potential for a tornado if the right type of storm develops. Now, I wanted to show everyone here. They're basically, the storm area is going to be at Kansas City. So this is more going to be on the St. Louis side than it is the Kansas. Topeka, you're in the outlook area from 2 to 4. But the very, very eastern part of Kansas is going to be in this severe thunderstorm potential box. But Kansas City, Clinton, Carrollton, Chillicothe, Missouri, Columbia, Missouri, you guys are going to see the majority of this action in that region anyway. And wanted to look ahead real quick to Monday, the Boston Marathon weather forecast. Heavier rain later in the day. Running in the Boston is like running anywhere else in the world. The marathon is known for its history and for its charm and, of course, its weather. The phrase, "if you don't like the weather, wait a minute," should be on our Welcome to Massachusetts sign.
Isn't that everywhere, though?
I think that's everywhere. This year, it's freaking out everywhere. But they're also talking about, honestly, guys, this is the right kind of weather for runners. Nobody wants to be hot. Nobody wants to be sweating their butts off here doing these long runs. So if they're looking at a 40-degree day with a little bit of rain, I mean, that's ideal for, in my opinion, for a runner. I mean, you stay cool. You don't have breathing issues. But here we go. We'll walk you through it. Monday morning, 39 degrees, a little chilly. Boston, 42 degrees, and then we get throughout the morning, it gets up to about 44, and by the time we're at 11 and noontime, we are near 50 degrees. So this is probably, other than the heavier showers that's scheduled to come throughout the day, this is going to be, actually they're scheduling downpours by the end of the day on Monday. So this weather is almost perfect, minus all the rain that we're getting. So just a heads up for all you Boston Marathon fans that are excited about this year's race. Let's hope we get a safe race this year and no problems with the weather. Speaking of the weather, let's go over to windy.com and take a look at some of our forecasted or reported in temperatures right now. I'll go ahead and start out here in the, well, it looks like I'm in the middle of the country right now. Windy's playing around with me a little bit. And we'll do this, guys. Bear with me here. All right, let's move it on over. Let's start in the east here and get some reported temperatures in some of the areas. All right, Buffalo, we're reported at 53 degrees. Syracuse is at a 50. Looking in Ohio near Columbus, you're at 77. Cleveland, Ohio, 75 degrees, and we're only 3 hours away from these people, folks, and we're just now in the low 50s. I did see a high of 60 today, but throughout the east and the northeast, we're seeing temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s, so this is well-welcomed weather here. Moving across the country. In the northern plains, we still got some colder air up there. Minneapolis, you're at 48 degrees. Green Bay sitting at 44 degrees. Moving on out to the plains. Checking you guys out. Colorado, 72 in Pueblo. Kansas City, 78. Texas, it's hot down there. 96 degrees at Dicey's Air Force Base. That's probably the hot spot of the day, folks.
Scroll up if you want people to see those lower temps.
Yeah, I'm going to here in a minute. Thanks, producer. So anyway, you get the idea. We're looking at a lot of spring-like temperatures throughout the area, and I'll go back across to the south here. Northwest region, you're in the 40s and 50s. California, 60s and 50s. The southern regions, we're reaching the 70s. But here we are, that fire zone we were talking about earlier. Arizona, you're in the mid-80s. Most of New Mexico in the 70s and 80s. Texas is hot. We got upper 90s in some locations of Texas. And throughout the south part of the United States here in the southeast, very muggy and humid in the mid 70s. So very pleasant for this April 12th here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some precip and a little bit of what's to come here in the near future. Click off of this stuff here for it. Okay. So I figured this would happen. Well, you know, Wendy wants to give me a problem the first time I use her.
It's a her, Jake?
It's a her. It's Wendy.
It's a her?
All right, guys, I promise I'll get you the... Here we go. I got it.
You need help, Jake?
I just had to hit the refresh. I just had to hit the refresh button, that's all. All right. So let's take a look at our national radar, our forecast for right now. Thursday, this fine Thursday here. I'll zoom out so we can get everybody included. So the normal here in the northwest, snow and higher elevations. It's cold enough for it, that's for sure. Here we are at Thursday. We got a minor system moving out of the northeast right now. We've got our fair share of rain from it. And then Friday, we start to see that big storm settling up across the central part of the United States. By evening of Friday, she finally gets her act together, and this thing is massive. Lots of rain in the middle part of the country, moving into the south, Ohio Valley. And as we get to Saturday this weekend, there's a cold front behind this. So temperatures get cold enough here in the northeast to get snow possible for the evening hours for places like western New York and near the Great Lakes. But this is a slow-moving system. Sunday, we're still dealing with this in parts of the southeast. And by Monday morning, we will finally see this system starting to make its exit off to the Atlantic. But before that, it's going to wreak a little havoc in the northeast. New York, heavy rain forecasted for us up into New England. And then on the backside of this, by Tuesday, we're talking snow. Some of these rain totals, I know they're being forecasted here in the northeastern part of the United States. We could see anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches of rain this weekend from this storm system that's moving in from Sunday to Monday. So definitely keeping our eyes on the possibilities of some flooding and stuff of that nature as well. But this storm system's still kind of hanging around the East Coast by midweek next week, and by then we start to see our next system trying to get its act together in the northern plains. And as it progresses towards the weekend, it will brush the northern part of the United States with some snow and rain showers, but right now that precipitation looks pretty moderate to light, if anything. But as we move out till the end of this forecast run here, by Friday, April 20th, another giant low pressure system develops over the central of the country going into Saturday. But this model here kind of shows it weakening a little bit towards the end. So let's hope that holds up. This is almost identical to the storm that we are seeing right now coming into our area this weekend, but the difference is that we don't see the long rain from New York to South Dakota it's missing that precip. So right now it's still a decent sized storm. It looks like it's going to affect the same areas that are going to get the heavy rain and the severe weather this weekend. So round 2 comes next weekend as well. Let's take a look up here in Alaska. I'll go ahead and back it up for our friends out in Alaska. I'll take you through the quick forecast on what you guys can expect out here as far as precipitation goes. Thursday, we see a system moving in. Mainly snow for you guys. Let's take a look and see if we can get temperatures up as well. So we're still looking at temperatures that will be cold enough for snow. But the good news is it doesn't look like there's going to be a ton of precipitation on the forecast. But we are watching a low pressure system moving through here on the 14th. And that starts to brush up on the Pacific coast of Alaska with more rainfall this time around than snowfall. And that takes us to the weekend on Sunday. And if we go down here to Hawaii, I know we have folks almost everywhere around the United States and world. Please bear with us. Take a look at what we're looking at right now on Thursday. And windy might not have a current forecast for me. So we do see some showers out in the Pacific. This is typical for them at this time of year, light showers off and on. But I'm sure their temperatures, if I pause it here, I might be jealous. Yes, definitely jealous. Don't have to worry about any snow in this area, that's for sure. So it looks like a soggy weekend for most residents in Hawaii as showers develop and stay with you throughout the weekend and finally try to make their dash by Monday as more in the area will develop and cross the islands as the week progresses. And that's pretty much a look at our weather for next week. This goes all the way to the 21st of April, which is next Saturday. Now, the Tropical Tidbits is a very useful website. I just wanted to try to show a little bit more simplicity. That way we can see temperatures better and weather changes. I think the Windy does a great job at displaying temperatures. Plus, there's just a few more features on here, such as the reported temperature button here, that we can get current live updates of what the temperatures are in that region. And another feature that I really like on Windy as well is their weather cam. Pretty much not all of them are up and running, but for the most part we're going to get actually these have motion as well. So but anyway, just trying to show all the neat little gadgets here that you can get on windy.com. Again, you could set it to GFS, ECMWF, or NAM. Same as Tropical, but Tropical Tidbits gives you the GFS forecast mainly. But however, like I said, this is something I would recommend. It's an easy beginners on how to and to look at weather. And it's really good to just, you know, help people who aren't used to looking at low pressure systems and what all that, and isobars and everything, all that stuff. They may not understand that on Tropical Tidbits. So this kind of breaks things down a little bit better and gives you the bigger picture, in my opinion. Plus, the shorter forecast is what we need to pay attention on. Let's get through these next several days before we think about any kind of precipitation that's coming in 20 days from now. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me tonight on our update. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. We will have the Radical Gardener live with us on our show. We're just going to discuss the grand solar minimum and some things that she might be doing to prep, and just a general discussion on the weather and everything that's happening around it. All right, guys, be sure to like and share, and we will talk soon.